Hi, Jason Spengler, the Santee Swapper. So I'm making some changes in my online websites, and I wanted to just kind of record a short video just to kind of explain a little bit of the history of what's going on and kind of explain why it is I've decided to make some changes. So for example, one strategy I tried was I tried creating websites that were focused on some of the big events that the Boy Scouts hold. The first one was 2009 NOAC.com. NOAC stands for National Order of the Arrow Conference. And so I was going to the 2009 NOAC actually as a delegate from Santee Lodge, and my idea was to build a website, a blog really, that was just going to focus on that event and try to capture video and stories and all about the patches and the memorabilia and everything else. Well, pulled that off. Probably could have put a little more effort into it, but I pulled that off. Then in 2010 Jamboree was coming, and so I created a website called 2010jambo.com. Similar story, wanted to just kind of capture what was happening at that big Boy Scout event, kind of creating a website or a blog site just about that one specific event. But eventually, as time passes by, these websites kind of became stale because those events were long gone, and then what do you know, there's a 2012 NOAC, there's a 2013 Jamboree. So what I eventually decided to do was probably about 2012 or 2013, that I would fold these old websites down into just one website. In fact, one that I hadn't mentioned yet, for many years I had what was called a vBulletin forum called patchblanket.com. That was my original Patch Blanket iteration. And this vBulletin bulletin board was one of those old-fashioned things with the internet where people would post on there. Maybe it was like an early Facebook or something, but it didn't really look anything like Facebook does. So I merged together the old forum, these old websites, I brought them all together, and they all now exist under the hood of scoutpatchcollectors.com. That website is the website that I created the very week that Brad England and I created the Scout Patch Collectors Facebook group. We were thinking ahead. We said, well, hey, let's go ahead and grab that URL in case we have some plans down the road. So it sat dormant for a while, but eventually I decided I would bring it to life and use it as a website to kind of absorb all this old content that I'd created. And so for a couple of years now, I've had scoutpatchcollectors.com sitting there, which I sometimes update. Brad and I have done a video blog there called Threadheads that some of you may have seen. But at the same time, I had my other brand sitting over to the side, which was Scouting Hot Finds. Now, I'd been publishing a Scouting Hot Finds newsletter since 2009, and also doing Scouting Hot Finds Radio, my podcast, for the last several years. And so that sort of Scouting Hot Finds brand, if you will, kind of existed out there, and certainly I was kind of the face of that. But over time, if things have kind of developed, it didn't really make sense anymore moving forward to have one blog site over here, scoutinghotfinds.com, and then another sort of similar blog site over here, scoutpatchcollectors.com, and just kind of put content on both of them, just trying to decide which thing belonged over here, which thing belonged over here. So now what I've decided to do, after many, many years of having these, I'm now just going to merge and melt everything down into one website. And so scoutpatchcollectors.com is now going to become that mother content website for the things that I've been doing for many, many years in the scouting collector's hobby. So scoutinghotfinds.com, all of the content that's there now, the podcasts, the newsletters, all that will just kind of fold into scoutpatchcollectors.com. All the posts are saved. You'll still be able to find them there. All the content's there. I'm just not going to support having two different websites at the same time. That just didn't make a lot of sense going forward. So going forward, here's what you'll see. What you'll see is that Scouting Hot Finds brand will still be there. It'll still be me publishing the newsletter. It'll still be me putting out YouTube videos or putting out podcasts with Scouting Hot Finds Radio. But those production pieces are going to live on the Scout Patch Collectors website, because the tagline of the website, well, even from the very beginning, it was supposed to be a reference site for collectors. And so the idea was to have a website that would have a lot of neat articles and things there for collectors, where people could go and search topics and find old content that I'd created, videos and posts and whatever, going back really almost over 10 years now. Some of those websites that I was doing, Patch Blanket, the forum, I think I started it maybe in 2005. So these things have been around for a while. So, and I hate the idea of sort of destroying content on the internet and just flushing it down the toilet. I like to preserve it and hold on to it in case someone is interested in it. So Going forward, you will now find all of that information at scoutpatchcollectors.com. Of course, it's tied to the Facebook group. I'm very active in the Facebook group. Brad and I have kind of talked about this, wanted to kind of extend that brand of Scout Patch Collectors out there. Maybe not necessarily beyond Facebook, that's really where it lives, but just as a means of helping collectors, and especially younger collectors, have a website they can go to find resources, to find checklists, to find things that might spark a little interest in them to keep going with the hobby. Again, all that's going to live now on scoutpatchcollectors.com. Go check it out.